Is it really wrong to save own pet instead of stranger, human, in case of fire? Nobody seems to be factoring in how much easier it would be physically to save a pet than a person. My cat can be scooped up and carried, he could even be dropped out a second-floor window if need be. A fellow adult human would most likely be too heavy and cumbersome for me to lift/maneuver out of a burning building. If they were conscious and able to walk for themselves, well, then I'd tell them to get out of the way so I could save my cat. They can save their own ass. Coming from someone who literally almost died trying to save a cat I was fostering from a fire, I have to say that these hypotheticals can't really be answered. You don't actually know what you'd do in a life-threatening situation until it happens. I 100% always thought of myself as a coward that would run at the first sign of trouble. I wasn't. My dad almost had to drag me out of the apartment kicking and screaming to get me to abandon a cat I had known for 3 days. It peed on me. Bit directly through my finger and I was scratched everywhere with cat urine and all of those wounds. But I got that fucking cat. Man. That is something I never thought I was capable of doing until it happened. Depends. If both are incapacitated, the pet would be much easier to save. Is it my house that's on fire? That would raise the odds of me being able to save the person. So, I guess go in intending to save the pet but keep the option open to prioritize the person. If you die attempting to save either, there's no net positive. A lot of people, who aren't trained professionals, think they could probably save one person from a burning house, but people who've been trapped in smoke know that unless it's a simple case of opening a door and leading a capable person out, it's probably going to end poorly. Remember that you will likely be fully blind and actively choking for the full duration of this scenario. Why do some guys not realize when a girl is trying to show them she likes them by dropping crystal clear hints, but then think that when a woman is being nice to them she wants to be more than just friends? I can only speak from my experience. At one extreme, this girl from my tutorial group at uni hung around a lot with me but always as part of a group. She didn't flirt. No physical contact. She was interested in me. At the other extreme, another girl spent loads of time with both just the two of us and with other friends. Others joked about us being a couple, would hold hands on occasion, and even commented you only hold hands if you are interested, and she just wanted to be friends. It seems different people have a very ideas of what a hint is. So best to use your words. What do you consider a crystal clear hint? There was one girl who apparently liked me in middle school. But to me she just felt like one of the boys. You could crack jokes with her all the time. You could insult each other and no one would be hurt. You could complain about English homework with her, etc. She never said anything that ever gave me the idea that she liked me. Nor did any of my other friends notice anything. After middle school, one of her friends said she gave so many hints, and then proceeded to not give any examples. I got an answer for that. I met two best friends. One was very, very pretty and the other plain. We became good friends. They both were same amount of friendly or flirty. Obviously I was hung up on the pretty one, so I took her every gesture as something more. Like I was a top cryptographer who had to decipher or I would perish. I saw the hints because I wanted to see them. If the man doesn't see clear-cut hints because they don't want to see that, they aren't interested, so they haven't obsessed over it. I hope that clears. What you can do in your 20s to avoid regrets in your 30s and 40s. Get professional help now. Sort through all the traumatic shit that happened to you before you become a 30-year-old so depressed you have to move home with your parents because the thought of doing the most basic living things becomes actually impossible and you need supervision so you don't off yourself. I partied through my depressed 20s. It was fine, everyone wanted to drink and fuck around. Now I'm an alone depressed 30-year-old, all my friends are getting married and buying property and I am literally starting over from 18. If you need the help, do it now. Not when you're 30 like me. I have wasted the last 10 years of my life and at this moment I do not see myself 5 years into the future. The only things I regret are the things I didn't do. Things I was scared to try and miss the opportunity that my friends took. People I didn't date. Friends that drifted after I didn't call. Places I didn't travel cheaply and now my standard is higher, lol. They're not huge regrets but just little tingles of what could have been. So I'd say, I did something that scares you, and it's not a question of risking your life or being put in unreasonable danger, then go for it so you don't look back and ask what if and what. Oh, and start contributing to your retirement ASAP, especially if you have access to a match. Start finding healthy things that you can tolerate now before you need to in your 30s. I'm now in my late 20s and most of my high school peers have put on a ton of weight probably by eating the same way they did in HS. I've maintained about the same body weight mostly by cutting out soda and just reducing the amount of sweets. But I still haven't found the healthy meals I like and eventually that will catch up to me. Your energy levels will drop drastically when that happens if you're not eating more healthy. Who did not deserve to get cancelled? The dislike button on YouTube and being able to see the ratio. Robbed us of our key tool to spot misinformation and call out corporate shill videos. The chicks got fucking nuked after they criticized George Bush and the Iraq War. Many prominent musicians did so. But they had the poor fortune of having a largely Republican fanbase. Being a country music act. It was nuts. Radios wouldn't play them. Other musicians wouldn't work with them. They lost sponsorships. Got death threats. Basically, everything that should have happened to Chris Brown happened to them. I think that going back in time and canceling people retroactively is stupid. They are a product of their time. Unless they did something heinous, then they shouldn't be cancelled. People today like to claim that they'd have the morals of today if they were around back then, but it's not true at all. Believe me if the trend continues. In 10 years a belief or social norm of today will be seen as offensive. It was pretty fucked up how we treated Britney Spears back in the 00s. Making her into the butt of jokes for literally having a mental breakdown. We all laughed at the "leave Britney alone" person. But they were 100% right all along. Finding out years later that her mental breakdown was probably the result of the lack of control she had over her own life under her father's conservatorship made us realize how huge assholes we were being back then. Apu from The Simpsons. That character taught me that Indian American immigrants are often very intelligent, family-focused people who are industrious and more level-headed than many Americans. Insane that the character got cancelled by someone who didn't even watch the show. Was it great that he was voiced by a white guy? No. But the show had a positive and genuinely diverse character before that was a goal in Hollywood.